Whether you love us or whether you hate us, we're back live and Inside the Game, episode 266 here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky live on YouTube and Roku, wherever else you're watching us, or on social media. We're live on that as well. Feel free to drop in your comments. And a huge thank you to everyone who stuck with us. I know we took a little bit of a break there since last Tuesday. It was nice to get a few days away from the show. Obviously, I had the start of minor league baseball, which was fun. Successful first week. We can talk about that. But just a little bit of time away, so we appreciate everybody who's dropping back in today. But Ryan, a little bit of a gap in time there. Exciting time for a lot of different things. Everything really outside of hockey. Hockey has been the one sport that has just been an utter disappointment, really on both levels. But everything else outside of that, it's been a good little stretch. But how was your stretch off?
It was great. Had a good time. Caught up on the new season of The Boys. So and finished Gen V right before that. So yeah, no, I'm hyped for the new season, and was listening to a couple of interviews with some of The Boys cast members, the actors, actresses, and they said that it's not gonna be a fairy tale ending. So just like The Boys show is, it would not be a fairy tale ending. Like it never is. So it's gonna be. I'm excited for it. Already a good start.
I will say that opening scene in The Boys, like right away, that opening in episode number 1, because I know I told you I watched a few episodes, but it was just like it hits you like a ton of bricks. And I got to give them credit because there's not too many TV shows that get you literally 10 seconds into it. But that the Boys certainly did. So I gotta circle back and watch it because you were recommending that I watch it, and you're already on season 5, so I'm 5 seasons behind you. So
And
clearly,
you still gotta watch.
I gotta get moving.
You gotta watch the 2 seasons of Gen V also because it all ties in. So you're like 7 seasons behind at this point.
Is this Netflix? What are you
Prime.
watching this on?
Prime Video.
Oh, Prime. Okay, all right, yeah. Well, I'm looking for a new show anyways. I tried Grey's Anatomy, but that ain't doing it for me, man. I don't understand the medical stuff. Like, it's not my line of work, so it doesn't hit me quite the same way. I can't do Breaking Bad again, although Breaking Bad was arguably my favorite show of all time. It's a slow start. It's a slow burn. I understand why people wouldn't like it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to stick with it for a little bit.
Breaking Bad wasn't even popular when it was on air. Like, they all talked about it really became popular with binging and was on Netflix.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that wasn't even that popular either.
And when everybody looked, like later on, when everybody learned, or at least the people that did watch it were like, oh, this is really good. And people start giving it a try. But anyways, a lot of different stuff going on.
Live stream, not this one. The one later on today, not this one.
What? Oh, are people trying to get you to eat a piping hot wing over there?
No,
my man Ryan
Glinsky,
Glinsky,
White Castle. This guy's had he thinks White Castle's
Castle.
great, and I think White Castle's trash. And he
like
thinks he
onions,
wants
it's
5K
great.
likes for White Castle. Look, Fabian, I'm not eating White Castle. I will eat a blazing wing. I will go buy a wing. I'll have a live stream tonight, 9 o'clock, 8:30, usually 9 o'clock, and I will eat it then, if you can get the 5K. And I won't have any milk. So, yeah, not yet.
Mm.
And I know I reverb on TikTok. Just go to YouTube.
Why not White Castle, man? You got a problem with onions? You don't like onions? Or you
No,
don't like
White Castle's
sliders?
trash. It's just too greasy.
I mean,
clogs your
I will say
arteries.
White Castle is not necessarily for like a sober-minded meal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't casually walk into White Castle for dinner and be like, hey, I would like to put an order in. Like, no, I walk into White Castle. That's like a late night, you know what I mean? Like 3 sheets to the wind kind of meal, in my personal opinion. So, I mean, you got to say, like, I mean, if White Castle is your only option, you're probably going in there. I mean, they still got options, but I'm just saying. But we could do a mukbang for one of the lives if you want.
No.
Really turn back the clock with that one. No? All right.
No, because then
just
I'll have
throwing
to use the bathroom in the middle of it.
But rolling along here, a couple of sports news just to get off the top here that I thought would be interesting. First of all, the Masters is wrapping up.
Who cares?
Yesterday, our friend Ryan
cares?
Glinsky rage baiting the entirety of the
rage bait, it's
sports
stupid.
world.
Ask
Well,
half
I
the people.
don't-
They won't watch it again. They're
But
not going to watch
hold
another golf tournament. But you know, the old people that just tee off to start this thing. It's the dumbest thing there is.
Listen,
The
man,
dumb
all I'm
tournament.
saying,
I'm not
but it's the
70.
same
I'm not
logic.
old. I'm not drinking Arnold Palmer. I'm not drinking tea. Look, I got better. There's 10 million
Arnie
other
Palmy
things.
alert.
You know what, Fabian? I'd rather eat White Castle than watch the Masters. That's what I'll tell you right
Oh, there you go. All right.
there. The Masters
that one's
is
already
stupid.
passed since it's
the
over,
dumbest
but-
tournament out there.
It's a tradition unlike
And a
any other,
douchebag
Ryan.
and Rory
Also,
won.
you don't like Rory? Oh, I guess
No,
Rory's
he's a dummy.
yeah.
He's
Rory,
arrogant.
he is. Hey, okay, but he finally got his one, and now he got another one. So I mean, I don't
He
know.
don't deserve
The
it.
guy's
He's
really
not even Happy
well,
Gilmore 2.
yeah. I
That's how you
mean,
know if he's a real golfer or not, if he was in Happy Gilmore 2 or not.
but hey, man, it's like the
Scheffler got
Super Bowl. Like,
arrested in 2.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, yeah. But like I said, man, I mean, it's kind of like the Super Bowl. You know, people watch that one, and then they don't watch any other ones. I don't know. It's just the one weekend in which golf kind of like separates itself
cares?
at least a little bit in the
No one's
U.S.
gonna
I'm
watch
just
it.
not good. I'm not good at golf. That's
Neither
where
am
I
I.
just
It's still
kind of
stupid, though.
it's it's tough for me to really get behind and get excited. I don't know. Like same with bowling. Like I would never really care about bowling. I need the freaking bumpers to do anything. I'm terrible at a lot of these these off the wall sports. But anyways, Rory does get the Masters. He gets the green jacket. I actually got one myself. I'd throw it on, but again, I would turn into a brick wall if I were to do so. Also, Kevin McGonigal, though, getting his first home run with the Tigers. I know we got to get into soccer talk a little bit, but cool to see Kev get number one after we got our moment in the sun with the Tigers preview video coming into the season. But I don't know, Kev, I think people will be pleasantly surprised as to how his power comes along. I really do, Ryan. I think he has a pure enough swing and obviously enough in terms of how compact he is and how strong he is that my man could be really good. He's not good on the microphone, though. He is an Akko Taco through and through, but he can swing a baseball bat.
This Tiger team is bipolar. That's all I'll say. Is they're either gonna score 20 runs or they're gonna score 1 and lose or maybe win.
That's
so
fair.
congrats, Kev.
That's
Got
fair.
your first home run. You did your job, and keep doing it. And you'll get more. Congratulations.
Yep, there you go. But let's get into hour number one and take a look at our MLS recap from over the weekend. Got a lot of news. The West is getting really interesting from what we saw in our results there. Wanted to talk about LAFC and Portland a little bit. But go ahead, Ryan. Let's take a look at our rundown from around the Major League Soccer here in Week 7.
Hey, shout out Philadelphia Union for finally getting some points and finally getting a victory. A shout out to them, which, by the way, I'd bring Kevin Sullivan onto the World Cup roster. But anyway, here we go. Again, not as many red cards as last week, dude. There was like 30 million red cards last week, and it felt like there was a whole bunch of goals and a whole bunch of red cards. We can start off. Yeah, we'll start off with who should we start off? Let's start off with Inter Miami and the New York Red Bulls. I have more stats on Inter Miami once we get done with this, but the youth movement gets a result, I guess you could say, against the one and only Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, as they had the 19-year-old, or no, the 17-year-old rather, get his first goal or his second goal of the season with Mermonti. I think I said that right. I hope I said that right at least. But yeah, no, he gets he gets it done. Gets a goal to tie things up, and Julian Hall set it up as he was an 18-year-old. So Andre Mementi scored it. Julian Hall set him up. So the youth movement continues to get going there. They're not world beaters, but there's definitely glimpses of signs that they could become really, really good. Portland ends their 5-game winless skid against LAFC, which, by the way, did not know Phil Neville was the head coach of this whole thing. So shout out to them with Portland. But they also rotated the squad since they're in the second leg of the quarterfinals against Mexico City, or against Cruz Azul in Mexico City, I should say, rather. This upcoming weekend, you'll see another team in Nashville. But yeah, no, just I wouldn't say it was an overall boring weekend, but I would say it was pretty. It wasn't as crazy as normal, but then this one I did want to get to as well.
Yeah.
The Colorado Rapids, 6 goals past Houston Dynamo. If I told you that the Colorado Rapids are the highest scoring team in the MLS, a lot of people would be shocked by that. So yeah, no, they scored 6 goals. They're the highest scoring team in the MLS. The Mile High Club is what they're nicknamed. They get it done. Once again, I forgot to mention LAFC, that when they lost to Portland, they did lose their first game of the season. I do want to get to this one at another talking point at some point. But Nashville, they did win against Charlotte, but they rotated the whole squad, all the starters set out because they're also in the CONCACAF quarterfinals. And then who we will see tomorrow night, Chicago Fire, they defeat Atlanta United. Our good friend Callum Ewing was at that game as well, talking to the coaches. But yeah, Greg Berhalter, he gets a 1-0 victory. And then Vancouver, they are now top of the West, I believe, at this point in the MLS standings. So, yeah, they are. They are tied now with San Jose, each with 18 points, and with that LAFC first loss of the season, they dropped down a peg to third to 16. And then our good friends over at the For the Crew podcast, they got to see their Columbus Crew score a goal. It's been a long time before they've scored a goal, but that wraps it up. Oh, Brian White for Vancouver, he gets his sixth goal of the season, tied for the most goals in the MLS. But that wraps up our MLS recap. But yeah, Nate, just a couple thoughts before we get into a couple things that I would like to say, because one of them's kind of annoying about the MLS.
Portland, I mean, taking down LAFC, listen, it proved that LAFC is not invincible. We talked about how much of a bulldozer that team is to begin the year, and I still think they're a very well put together team. And make no mistake, I still think LAFC is certainly one of my favorites to finish at the top. But we talked about this with Portland, even after their cold start. If they were to get back that swagger they had on the defensive side of things that they had last year, and for example, when they beat Miami to win a cup, they would be right back in the conversation in the West. And they did that in week 7 against LAFC. The West just got a whole lot more interesting in general. I know maybe overall, maybe not the most exciting weekend. However, I will say the picture just got a little bit shaken up. So I guess that makes it more interesting in terms of that side of things. By the way, speaking of the West, we had to start talking about what Vancouver is doing. I know that we have mentioned them. I know that obviously Sebastian Berhalter's been playing great with Vancouver. Not so much on the U.S. men's national team side. However, at the club level, he's been outstanding with the Vancouver Whitecaps, but still undefeated, putting up goals. Right now, all 11 are playing exceptionally well. Vancouver is, in terms of momentum, I don't think anybody in the league has more momentum right now than Vancouver does. They have been playing unbelievably. Last point that I want to point out, though, here, and I think this is something that we have been discussing, especially last year, and it pertains to Inter Miami. And this is a team that obviously, in a club that has a lot of veteran leadership and experience.
And
this
the
is a
greatest player of all
club
time.
that has, and the greatest player of all time, in Lionel Messi. But the thing is, Messi is just being Messi yet again this year in Major League Soccer. He has 5 goals right now. So it just continues to be at the top of his game. That's the most on Inter Miami by 3. So he's still doing what he's doing in this league. But when you take him out of the equation, now the question becomes for Inter Miami, what's the next option if Messi isn't there? Not saying they can't win it again with Messi being there, because I still think they are built and constructed as a team and an organization to go win a championship, but you can't build everything on hopes and dreams that Messi will just be there the entire time, because I wouldn't say that retirement is too far off. And when you take him out of the equation, I mean, Matteo Silvetti has been exceptional, still at just 20 years old. He's going to be something for the Inter Miami team, but he's your best next option outside of that, and he has 2 goals. Outside of that, everybody else has maybe 1 respectively for the rest of that Inter Miami squad. Messi has 5. And yes, of course, the best player in the world is going to be the best player on your team, no doubt about it. All I'm saying is that at this point and at this juncture, it's probably beneficial for Inter Miami to start considering a world in which Messi is not available anymore. Because what you don't want to do is continue to put all your eggs into one basket, and now Messi isn't here, and what do? You still have to continue to develop the depth, and I think that's something that, again, for the poster child of what this league is, and we've seen it with the new blueprints and the plans to build what is essentially the mecca of American soccer in Miami. You have to put all of those pieces into motion to continue to back up what you have in Messi. Because I look at the way that this Miami team is playing right now, and they are all being, the entire organization is still being driven by one guy, and that's Lionel Messi. And rightfully so, the way he's still playing right now. But what do? It just seems like there is a bigger question mark that is looming on the horizon for this Miami team that comes when Messi finally decides, and maybe it's after the World Cup, it could be, but finally decides that, hey, it's time to step away. It's time to be done. I know people call it a retirement league, and trust me, when you talk
'Cause it
about the
is.
MLS, it is a retirement league. I understand that, but he's still playing, and so he's still moving his body. He's still out there competing. Whenever that comes to an end, you just hope the fall off, at least for Miami people. Now, I've never been much of a Florida guy myself. We'll talk about the conversation, the Hockey Town conversation later. Miami is Hockey Town too, by the way, which just it completely infuriates me. I hate that we're living in this timeline in which Florida can claim they're the best in hockey because
Well, they
what the
can.
hell is even that? But but you have to, if you're Inter Miami, looking at the way that the season has shaped up to this point, you really have to start thinking about what the next step is after Messi decides
It,
that he's done.
I I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna throw out a couple numbers for you. Because once you have Messi, you do everything in your power to win with him. It's the greatest player of all time. You don't just you think
No, you're right.
you
Yeah.
think any team with LeBron James is just gonna
No.
Michael Jordan's
No,
gonna be like, let's
absolutely
just
not.
wait till life after him. No, once you got him the best player
No.
of all time, you gotta go with
We
you
got
gotta
to
go
build a
win.
team. Yeah.
So Inter
Yeah.
Miami first 7 games last season, 4 wins, 3 draws, no losses, 12 scored, 6 conceded. And this year, which they did win the MLS Cup last year, this year 3 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, 13 scored. The only difference is 12 conceded. So the offensive firepower is still going. It's more of the back line that they've got to figure things out, which is weird because they had the best goalkeeper in MLS history, or not history, but the best MLS goalkeeper
Well, yeah.
last year in or from
Yeah.
Minnesota United in Tavian St. Clair come over. But Inter Miami's not that bad of a spot. They just got to figure out defensively, and that's pretty easy to figure out. You just got to move a couple other pieces around. Maybe put another double pivot in there. Maybe you put in a different center back. Maybe you move a right back into a center back. Whatever. But those are easy things to fix. Offensively, that's
Yeah.
hard things to fix. But offensively, they don't have any issues. They still put the ball in the back of the net. And if you got Messi, man, you're going to do everything in your power to win with that guy. I don't think they have to think about life after Messi and all that stuff because it's going to happen. And I'm sure they've had talks about, when you're going to retire and whatnot. But, hey, he's going to at least see out the rest of this season, maybe next season. Then maybe he just calls it quits. But now you win with Messi as much as you can. And he's already proven it. He's already won it.
Yeah. Oh, of course, you win with Messi. You do everything you can to win with Messi. Yeah, there's certainly no question about that. My only question, the main question in my mind is this team built to get into shootouts? Like, are they constructed to get into shootouts with other
They have
teams, or
Suarez.
you know,
They've got Messi.
yeah,
Yeah, they absolutely are capable of going into a shootout. So yeah, no, they're
fair.
fully capable of doing it.
Yeah, just certainly something to think about. But anyways, you had something to say about Major
Yeah,
League Soccer?
this is kind of annoying. This is kind of stupid.
Okay.
Like this is
All right.
so we talked a little bit about we kind of touched on a couple teams, resting all their players. Portland being one of them, and Nashville being the other one. I was blanking on the other team that rested all their starters because they're in the CONCACAF Champions League, and I get it. I mean, the Champions League is a big thing to try to win and try to get in. So there's a couple teams, and maybe that's why LAFC lost as well because they rested a handful of starters. But there's a couple of MLS teams that are in the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals. Nashville being one of them. LA Galaxy, who beat Mount Pleasant. They went all the way up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, to go beat them. And then you have LAFC, Nashville, and the Seattle Sounders all playing. And this is where I think the MLS starts to get like a bad rep with folks. If this is a European team or this is any European league, no one rests all of their starters to play in a Champions League game. Yeah, you might see them rotate the squad a little bit. Maybe they drop 3 of their 4 starters, but you don't rest all the starters just to wait to play on a Tuesday or Wednesday. That doesn't happen. And I think that comes down to there's not a ton of pressure for a lot of these MLS clubs. Why? Because, A, you don't have to be relegated in any sense. 2, there's a playoff system, so all you got to do is be in the first 8 or the top 8 or top 10 because you have a play in it as well for the 9th and 10th or the 8th and 9th spot. So all you have to do is 8th and 9th spot. Yeah, all you have to do is be in the top 9, which is more than half of your conference. These Eastern and Western Conference each have 15 teams, and all you got to do is be in the top half of your conference. That's all you have to do. And I just don't think there's a ton of pressure on these MLS sides and these MLS players and the MLS clubs to truly win week in, week out, where every game matters, where every single moment in a
Yeah.
game matters. And we just don't have that type of atmosphere and that type of culture yet in the MLS because there is no pro rel, and you don't have. It's not just a giant grouping of players where or a group of teams where you can just all it is just what you do in the regular season, and that's it. But we have a playoff system, and 9 out of the 15 teams qualify for making the playoffs. Like that's just not a great system for having,
Hmm.
great or where there's consequences if you lose. That's just not a great system. And I just
Yeah.
saw that when I was reading it. I was like, that's what we're doing a whole weekend where we are resting players for a week, a game in the middle of the week. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. That's just a bad shot of American soccer in the MLS. But no, I just want to mention that like that doesn't happen in any other league besides the MLS, and I'm just not a fan of that at all.
Yeah, Ryan rolling that grenade out there in the middle of the room. And now I want to talk about Pro Rel, but I know we got to get to a commercial break, and we got to talk about Arteta at Arsenal as well, because I know you wanted to work that into the conversation. So, but no, let's circle back and talk about that. I mentioned that on socials the other day about how I think Pro Rel is necessary. I really really do think it is, because I think it would change a lot of that stuff. But let's get to the Arsenal conversation on the other side of this commercial break. First, we'll tell you about FC Bayern summer soccer camps. They are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. And that's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
Ryan and I are going to have a driving competition to figure out how far both of us can hit the ball with the driver. It's not too far. It'll probably end up going directly right. The golf simulator, man, we gotta go see. We gotta go match up, see how you and I, we hit it off the tee. Just saying. But I'm gonna actually put this next segment up on a tee for you and just let you do your thing, because I know you got something to say about your Gunners. I know you're very disappointed with what you've been seeing lately, and Arteta was just recently given an ultimatum. You made a video about that, but I'll let you kind of take the lead here in segment number 2.
Yeah, no, I've just been Fabian thinks that you should eat White Castle as well. instead
Me?
of me
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm not eating it. So you should eat
All
the
right.
White Castle. He said we're
What
great.
does he want me to eat?
He says 1.5K for White Castle. I said no White Castle, and he says if not you, your bearded coworker. Yeah, no. I think Nate could do it.
What it, what do you want me to eat?
He
That's
wants you to eat
that's
a
the
case.
question. What?
Wants you to eat a case. It's like 20 sliders.
Oh, okay. All right. So what do we get out of this? What is our end of the what do we receive?
I don't know.
Just 1.5 thousand 1,500 likes
Yeah, if we get it on the live stream.
on a
just-
live stream?
Just go in the TikTok live and he'll tell
man.
you, talk with him. He'll tell you what you should be doing. He tells us.
Give me
He says
10,000 likes.
I would say 10K likes for it. I mean I'm not eating White Castle because
That's what I'm saying.
shit's
Like
trash.
if you give us like 10K on a live, and I will join up with Ryan and we could do a live together, and yeah, I'll smash those sliders for sure. But no, I'm not doing it for no 1,500 likes. I'm just saying, give me like 10K or something along those lines. You know
It's
what
a
I mean?
very
And then
hard
just
bargain.
spam our page.
I gave you a blazing wing for 5,000, so that's
Okay, all right, that's yeah, okay. But you got ice cream or milk or
White Castle. I ain't
anything?
doing White Castle.
Hey,
I ain't doing no
volunteering
White
me for
Castle.
stuff over there.
I'm not doing White Castle. I'll tell you that.
Oh man. I
Anyway,
don't think I don't know.
Getting up to
yeah,
the
go ahead.
the Arsenal talk here. Yeah, he was given ultimatum over the weekend, and I thought it was great. I think it put some pressure under him, lights a fire a little bit. Now this could go one of two ways. I think that it could either help us out in the long run, that being Arsenal, or two, it just gets so tight that the coil will just explode. So
Yeah.
this is kind of the part where it goes, okay, if we're going to get this done or are we not? Because this is the best shot we've ever had. Yeah, we bottled it in 2021, 2022. Yeah, we did it then. But, we haven't really done it since. So we haven't been in a spot where we could win the league. I guess we were technically in 23, 24, but we won 17 out of 19 games and still lost the league. So that's not a bottle job by my standards whatsoever. But the only difference I would say is Man City is not Man City of the old. And I love the club giving Arteta an ultimatum of you've got to win the Champions League or you've got to win the Premier League. And because it hasn't happened. We haven't won a major trophy since 2004. I was 1 year old, maybe 1 year old in like 2 months or something like that. You get an ultimatum, and I already know who I'll get to who I think should replace Arteta to even begin with. I already have my name in hand or in my mind, and I've had it in my mind for a while now. And I'm glad that he's had 3 managerial years under his belt at this point. He's done an unbelievable job. But I just would say, like, if it's not this year, when is it going to be? Because this is the best spot you've ever had to win a Premier League. Obviously, in 22, 23, or 21, 22, it was like we weren't really supposed to be there. Like, we were just having fun that we were, like, in the conversation to win it all. Like, we weren't supposed to even be in that situation. And, like, the younger players that we had, like Saka and Martinelli, weren't supposed to be that good, and they were good. Xhaka wasn't supposed to be unbelievable, but he was. And we didn't have any depth back then. We were just, like, a solid starting 11 with 1 or 2 guys off the bench. Now you have the depth, and you have all the depth, and you have all the starters that you want. You've spent so much money. We've got to get it done. In my one of the guys that I worked with at Woodward, and Sean Blegian, says every team gets one run, one fun playoff run, one fun season without all the expectations. Like the Lions had theirs when they lost to the Niners. The Pistons, this will be their fun year, so we'll see what happens there. And the Tigers, I think, had their fun year, I would say, against when they lost to the Guardians in Game 5. Something about, ALDS Game 5s. Which used to not be that way, but we'd lose every Game 5, it seems like now. And we've had no more fun runs at this point. You've got to win something. And shout out Josh Kroenke. I will say shout out the Kroenkes. I used to hate these guys. 4 years ago, I hated these guys. But you know what? They've actually taken this club seriously. Stan just was like, you know what, Josh, take it over. Like, obviously, I'm still owning this thing, and I still fund everything. But, like, you're running the show here. And shout out Stan for doing that. But Josh has done a really good job since, I think, really taking over. He's put in so much faith into this guy. Even when we were, I think, we were bottom. We had no points after the first 3 games, and I think our goal difference was like -9. We didn't even score a goal, and like in 3 games, like that's what it was. And he kept faith, and I will say Arteta's laid a really good foundation down. but there is just something that's lacking. There's like a killer instinct. There's like a sense of like, let's just play it safe. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's just that sense, and I get that feeling. It's like the sense of this, like we're just playing too safe. We're playing. I don't even want to say it's scared. It's just we play too safe. We don't even take any risks. I don't get it at this point. But that is just what I don't understand. I'm just glad he's given an ultimatum. And you know what? If it's not this year, when is it going to be? And I love it. Shout out Josh Kroenke for actually doing his job, unlike his father.
Yeah. Even without the ultimatum, I would argue that he felt the pressure and still feels the pressure because of exactly what you've described and what we've seen out of Arsenal. I wouldn't necessarily call it, and I thought initially, man, this is almost kind of like a nightmare on repeat. But I think it's more of an annoyance for Arsenal fans, if anything. Almost that there's just like this expectation that this is just kind of how it's going to go. They're just going to flame out. They're not going to be able to finish. My biggest question, and it's something that I would ask you, and I would ask other Arsenal fans as well, is this team capable of playing outside of the way they like to? Are they capable of adjusting and matching the style of the teams that they have to beat? That's what I'm saying. And so I still think there's a lot of hope. However, to apply more pressure is not a bad thing. It's funny how sometimes like fans think that applying pressure, whether that be from the fan base or whether that be from the front office, is somehow a bad thing. Oh, we have to be kind and supportive. No, putting pressure on the shoulders of who it is that's leading the team and on the club themselves sets the expectation that, hey, you got to win, or we have other alternatives already in mind. And I know, I'm almost certain that Arsenal has probably lined up a few other options just in case this doesn't already go the way that it goes. There are some names that have already popped up that they've already keyed in on. And so putting pressure on the manager, on the team, is not a bad thing. And I look at this in the same way, and we'll talk about the Red Wings later on. The crowd booing the other night. There were a handful of people that were like, well, I didn't like that. No, they deserved it. They deserved every little bit of that. And that's why these supporter sections in European football sometimes can have actual, power over the way certain things go, because the way they respond and the pressure they put on the players. Arteta having that pressure put on him, yeah, it sets the expectation that, hey, we've run the table. We are in the best position, arguably, we've been in a long time. Again, to your point, that one playoff run without any expectations, that's not what the expectation is now. The expectations have squarely changed, much like the Red Wings in the organization that they were for the longest time. You don't call yourself Hockey Town for nothing, right? So the expectation was this, you are going to win. Now it's a decade without it. And so we haven't
won in 20 years.
No,
haven't been good.
The expectation,
we did not contend. We were just like, let's just make the playoffs. We weren't even that good.
Right.
And
but for Arsenal, the expectation is it has changed. And so rightfully so that they should put pressure on them. I don't know how we hear about this. I feel like it would have been pressure in-house, but that's how the media and media leaks go. I understand it, but it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, and for being honest, Stevie Y is under no pressure at all. But anyway, back to the Arsenal conversation. There's no new stadium bill that's hurting this team for money. There's nothing that's stopping this team from winning anything. And when you're a club of this magnitude, like, look, City's been trash. Like, this is not up to their standard. Liverpool is dead. Man United's trash. Chelsea's trash. Villa's falling off a cliff like they normally do. There's always a team around December. Oh, they might win it. No, they're going to fall off a cliff in January like they always do. Happens every single time. Mm-hmm. But you've got to go win it this year. And I've already talked about it. Like, you've got to win it. There's no satisfaction in it at all. And I'll tell you who the new manager is going to be if they don't win nothing. Cesc Fabregas. What this guy has done with Como is unbelievable. This guy has had, on average, he averages 1.5 points per game for all 59 games that he's managed. He's managed for, this will eventually be his third season. He did play at the team, so let's not talk about his player stats there, but managerial-wise, took over as a caretaker, and then they're like, you know what? Let's just promote you to head coach. And what does he do in the first season? Gets them promoted. What does he do in the second season? Stabilizes them in Serie A. What does he do this season? Has them in the running for the Champions League. This is what this guy does. And I'll tell you something. He has played under two of the most, how do I want to say it? two of the most influential managers the game has seen in this century. Arsene Wenger and Pep Guardiola. And everyone, oh, you're just an Arsenal fan for saying Arsene Wenger. Well, then why did the game revolutionize under when he was taking over stuff? Why did all of a sudden the English game improve when he came over from Japan and has all the French tendencies and brought all the French players? Curious how that all works when at that time when he came over, French was prime France. That was prime France coming over. Vieira, Petit, all those dogs. Thierry Henry, another name. Nicolas Anelka, another name. Man, did he have a horrible ending at Arsenal. But this guy has not only played under both of these managers, or played under both managers, and he also played important roles for all of them. Wenger trusted him when he was a 16-year-old. He was a key part of Barcelona's midfield when they had prime Iniesta and Xavi. Like, think about that. Cesc Fabregas was in the midfield with Xavi and Iniesta. And he has done nothing but win in his time at Como. You could say, well, he hasn't won anything massive. It's damn Como. He's not going to win Serie A. He's not going to win whatever trophy they have over there. He's not going to win Champions League. They've only been 2 years in Serie A, but he's outside the top four. Just outside the top four. We could say, we talked about it last week, Serie A's not this. Italy's not this. It's not a great league. To do that in any league where in the second season you're competing for a Champions League spot, that only happens in video games. And to still be in the race to make a top four spot this late in the season, this only happens in video games. And he's doing it with them. And the best part is his team is so attacking-oriented as well. Obviously, if he were to come into Arsenal, that would change a little bit with the Premier League stuff, but you still have great players. You still have top talent all over the place. So it's not like you have to sit back defensively, but it just feels like this guy's got so much of a trust. And Arteta is just, I think, he's playing scared to lose. And that's not necessarily a way that you want to play. And that just seems to be the way that you're doing it. And Fabregas out there, he's just letting it all loose. And I love that about Cesc Fabregas. And this guy's an absolute, he's going to be a dog manager wherever he goes. I don't know wherever he ends up, but he's not going to be a Como. I know he's contracted till 2028, but he ain't making it to 2028. It's just like, it's almost like a mid-major that just has, like Brad Stevens, you just knew with Butler, he was going to leave at some point. But Cesc Fabregas, this guy's an unbelievable manager. I would love for him to be the Arsenal manager. Obviously, I would love to see what he does at a big club, but you know what? He already has managerial experience, and he'd come into the Arsenal side with a Lamborghini, and he wouldn't crash that thing. I know he wouldn't. He's a dog. Unbelievable manager, what I've seen from him so far.
Have you and JT played FIFA at all lately? And no FIFA matchups between you two?
I haven't played since like Thanksgiving.
I was gonna say, you started talking about video games, and I just remembered all those times that I would hear about you beating JT, although he would probably have the best team ever, and you would have whoever.
Yeah, I beat him with
in that game.
Real Madrid, and I had a team from India, and I still beat him I think 5-4 or something. Yeah, no.
Oh my goodness, no, but you're right, and especially after, he's been there. Arteta's been there for 6 years. You know, he's
I will
had
say
his
this,
time too, but he was there during COVID, and all that.
It was just, don't be that bad. Like, just be kind of mid. Like, he didn't have a pure transfer window until 2020, the summer of 21. So after his first 2 years, like he did not have a year and a half, I should say. He didn't have a true transfer window until then. And he stabilized. He still won a trophy and 2 trophies in that span. But now it's like, come on, man, we got to win something. I don't care about FA Cups and Community Shields anymore. I don't care about it. And I know that's another part, is they were pissed off that they don't feel the standard you should ever lose to a championship side, and rightfully so. And I love that the management, the ownership is like, oh, dude, they're really pissed off about this thing. I also think when the Rams win a Super Bowl, the Avalanche win a Stanley Cup, and the Nuggets win an NBA championship, you got to win something because they're so used to winning, and it's just an addiction that everyone says. It's like once you win that trophy, like, whether that's a coaching or a player or an ownership, it just becomes addicting. So I love that. I really do. I said I know, like, it could go one of two ways, but I really love that the ownership is putting it out there, because what does that mean? It just shows that they care and they want to win stuff. So, and saying that, if I said this 5 years ago, if I told 5 year, or what would I have been, 18? If I told 18-year-old me, or 6 years ago, if I told 17, 18-year-old me, I love what the Kroenkes are doing with the Arsenal club, I would have punched 23-year-old straight me right in the face, because what are you talking about? I hated those guys, but they have done nothing but great things since Josh was like, you know what, Dad, I'm either you step aside, or Stan said, Josh, take over. He's done great things. He's got a stupid beard, but outside of that, there's no complaints.
Yeah, it doesn't. Frankly, you can wear your facial hair however you want to if you win. I feel the same way about athletes. Like I don't care. You can look like Dennis Rodman in the '90s. I don't care if you're winning championships, buddy. If you're winning championships for me, I don't care. You can come wearing a toupee. It doesn't bother me. So, anyways, I'm just saying. But you can't not win and then look goofy at the same time. Like then you're just goofy, and so that it doesn't really add up. But no, you're right. Pressure's on, and as it should be. It's. I think it's time, and I think it's fair from an Arsenal club. I think they realize they have the bargaining power to do so. But let's take a break. When we come back, we will talk about the U.S. women's national team beat Japan in the first of what will be 3 for that club against the Japanese side. And listen, after the major disappointment that was 2023 in the World Cup, I think Emma Hayes has this team right where she wants them. More on that coming up next here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics,
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
whether it's a championship win or a legendary play.
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
Call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
Back in live and inside the game here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky. Appreciate you guys, as always, following along. Know we took a little bit of a break last week, but getting back to it this week. And it's going to be a busy one. Again, we got U.S. Open Cup coming up tomorrow. Chicago Fire coming to Detroit, taking on Detroit City FC. So Ryan, myself, Jonathan Turner, we will all be there hanging out watching that game.
Oh, and you didn't
that'll
give
be
your
a
boy
great.
Sam Fisher any love? Is it just because?
Oh, and Fish! I can't
just 'cause
forget.
he's
I
so
can't forget the Fishman.
Maybe in Russia.
Is it just because of that? Is that why you didn't give your guy Fish any love?
I'm actually
Hey,
gonna
Sam,
wear it.
would you wear a Soviet Union hockey jersey?
Probably not. Maybe in Russia.
You can ask him tomorrow.
Hey,
You
Fish,
can-
I'm
you
wearing
can
it.
ask him
I'm wearing
tomorrow.
it to the game tomorrow. How about that? I'm wearing the Soviet Union jersey to the game tomorrow. How about
yeah,
that?
do that.
Just
Yeah,
roll
do
that
that in
roll.
Hamtramck. Why don't you? That's gonna be a smart move.
Roll that one. Well, I'm going to put you guys in the line of fire too. So we're all in this together. So I'm just saying.
Oh, I'd just
yeah.
be like, who's that guy? I don't know who he is. That's what I would say.
I'd be like, Ryan, help! Yeah,
I'd
it's
be like,
you-
my name's
you
not
know-
Ryan.
This your boy?
If they're saying, I'm
This your
like,
boy
I don't know
over
who
here?
that guy is. I don't want to.
This your
I
boy
don't
over here in
associate
the
myself
Soviet
with the
jersey?
Soviet Union.
I'm trying to give all these angry people a history lesson. Some angry Ukrainian man that's like, take that off now. And I'm like, hey,
Oh yeah,
hey,
yeah,
hey,
Nate. That
you
might
know?
be the dumbest decision I think you could ever make by wearing that to Hamtramck of all places. You'll realize real quick with the certain flags that are hanging around over there. Yeah, man, that's.
They don't like that too
I
much.
wouldn't know who you are. I would have no idea
Not
who
too
you
much.
are. I would be like, I have no idea who that guy is.
Oh man. All right, I'll just go stand by JT then. Let him take the hit. So that's cool.
I
with
just
me.
wouldn't show up to the game at that. If I knew that you were rolling in with a Soviet Union jersey, I just would be like, I'm not going, John. Why aren't you going?
So if if I walk my happy ass into the studio tomorrow with CCCP on my chest, you're not going to the game anymore. You're
I'm
cashing
just
it
not
in.
going
You're
to
just
the
gonna go
game.
home and
then
hang out.
if you
All
ever
right,
wore
all
it
right.
on the show, I would just simply like I'm rocking solo the rest of the day. And you'd be on
Oh,
mute. You'd be trying to talk. I'd be just
you
like
were
unmuting him. Like I just wouldn't. No.
well, you were negative 40 years old when the Soviet Union fell, and you're keeping the beef alive. I love it. I mean, I guess there are some sympathizers, probably, you know, whatever. We don't have to talk about that, but you know, I respect it though. Right? I respect it.
Because
it.
I'm
Good on you.
American.
You're-
and I
you're a
have
true
American
patriot.
stuff.
Speaking
only
of
other-
true,
The only other country you'll see
Go
we
ahead.
rock is Poland, but Poland has helped us in the military in recent months. So shout out Poland.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, Poland. I mean, freaking poor Poland has never done anything to anybody. They've just been invaded by both sides, whether
Nah,
it
they
be
just be
Russia.
chilling.
If you get placed right in the middle of Russia and Germany, that is like the worst possible thing ever. Like that's terrible. Like what the talk about rock in a hard place. No, that's just like a rock and another rock, and they're constantly being thrown at you all the time throughout the course of history. So no, yeah, Polish folks, yeah, a lot of sympathy
Pretty
on this
awesome.
end. I'm Polish too. Yeah, exactly. So at least if you were to
I don't know if you're Polish after rocking a Soviet Union shirt. So, and the fact is, you don't have a Miracle on Ice. You can't even claim Miracle on Ice anymore because you can't say it's the greatest thing ever because you rocked the other team's jersey.
hey man, I mean maybe it could be from like a perspective of like mocking them. You know what I mean? Like this is the
No,
losing
it's
team.
clearly
Isn't that
not a.
funny?
It's
You know,
clearly
like,
not a state of mockery because you love it
I'm
so
not proud
much.
of the Soviet Union, but I'm just saying. But anyway, speaking of patriots and our resident patriot and Ryan Glinsky, let's get into a couple of other patriots yesterday. The U.S. women's national team gets 10th straight win. This one of three. I didn't realize they're playing a 3-game series against
wanted
Japan.
to
You
be
don't
like
normally
baseball.
see that. Yeah, and it kind of is
They're
like baseball.
They're like baseball seasons here. Let's just do what baseball does.
Exactly. You know, and we've had a great pitching rotation, and our bats have been coming alive recently in the
Great job from the
international
manager. She's really
women's-
picked a really good lineup and knows when
Yes.
to pinch hit and pinch run
Emma-
and use the bullpen properly.
Emma Hayes. Yeah, and Emma Hayes knows her stuff. You know, she knows when to go to the pen. She knows how the team moves. She's really developed a good culture over there. No, all joking aside, though, Rose Lavelle and Lindsay Heaps ended up getting the 2 goals in the United States' 2-0 winner in that one. I think it's Rico Uweki. I don't know how you pronounce that, but cut the lead in half. But the U.S. was able to finish that one 2-1. And when you look at this U.S. women's national team, and Emma Hayes even said after the game, she goes, you know, maybe a couple of months ago, we would have probably drawn in that game. And I think that assessment is fair because when you look at the failure that the 2023 World Cup was for the U.S. women's national team, you know what's fascinating is our highest of expectations for the men's team is that maybe they'll make a round of 16. Like that is our ultimate dream in 2026. If they get out of the group, if they make a round of 16, if they look stomachable in the round of 16, hey, you know, we're all happy over here. But when we talk about the U.S. women's national team in the round of 16 elimination in the 23 World Cup, it was an indication that, you know, maybe not just that the world was catching up, but that the way that the women train and are developed in the other countries in question, including Spain, I think Spain maybe most notably, is they are coming up in their training in the same way that a lot of their men's players are. Like they are now inundated into that culture that we see in a lot of these other places, which obviously we've talked about we don't have here in the United States. So you got to jump on the rest of the world, maybe financially, maybe with resources, maybe with numbers and all these other things. But now you can't simply rely on those things to go out and win a World Cup. And so I think for the U.S. women's national team in addressing and getting Emma Hayes into the clubhouse has completely changed the entire conversation, not just about how we develop on the lower levels, but also how we develop on the highest level. And I think the one biggest marker of that development has been this team's ability to finish. Yes, Trinity Rodman just signed the most lucrative deal in the history of women's soccer. She's applying that on the national team scale. We're seeing Rose Lavelle, who right now mentally is one of the toughest players I've ever seen on this U.S. women's national team, and still very young too. But it is a young core. It is the biggest pool that we've had of players in quite some time. But I think the most important thing is the mental component of this game, which I think Emma Hayes, again, we talked about her versatility, and JP Dellacamera did an outstanding job really kind of illustrating what this all looks like, which is she has the ability to, number one, have fun, right? She endears herself to the players, but right, number two, knows what the structure looks like to go out and win games on that level. Now, it's weird because she didn't really have any international experience. She didn't have any international experience coming into this position. But all I'll say is that USA Soccer, I think they found the right one. And I think yesterday that example was put on display in how they played against that Japanese team. Now they still have 2 more games in this 3-game set. So, things can still happen. And I think that's a weird concept in soccer too, because thing about baseball is, you can drop 1 of 3 and it's still a good series, right? Because you face a team 3 times, you might lose 1 of them. However, Japan is still a top side in the women's game. Japan has come a very long way. And so for Emma Hayes to say something like that after the match shows you a lot about what this women's team is doing and what they've been able to kind of build in terms of momentum going into 27. And believe you me, once this World Cup is done in 26, that's the next part of the conversation. Now we have to start talking about 27 in this resurgence of USA women's soccer. Does it result in the one thing that we need to bring back to our shores, which is the World Cup? And so I think Emma Hayes is positively building in that direction with every passing win. And certainly yesterday was another example of that.
Yeah, I think she's done a really good job. I mean, they won back-to-back World Cups. Anything after winning a World Cup is going to be a failure in 2023. But I think they've done a really good job of euthanizing the team, I guess. Very young crop of players. And I mean, look, they won the gold or the gold medal in the Olympics, and that's a big thing in women's soccer. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
Compared to the men's game, like the Olympics don't mean anything. But I mean, obviously, you want your team, your country represented, and you want players to play in it. But if you don't win it, I mean, it's like, oh, okay, like no one's gonna lose sleep over it, but that's a big competition for the women's, and I know that because we lost to Japan in 2011, then we beat them in the gold medal in 2012, then we beat them in the World Cup final in 2015. It was a little bit of a rivalry back in the early 2010s, so it's good to continue to beat them. I mean, I still remember the 2011 World Cup final heartbreak, but again, I think once you got the whole, what was it, triple espresso is what they're called. I forget exactly. Trinity Rodman, Swanson, and blanking on the other girl's name, but I think they're called Triple Espresso. I forget what they're called, what the nickname is, but I think they've done a really good job. And Rose Lavelle was a star in 2019. She was amazing in that World Cup final against the Dutch. And I still remember after the game, she's not young, by the way. She's been in there for a while, but I remember.
Maybe I was referring to somebody else. I forget.
I remember
but anyways,
Landon Donovan came out and was like, Rose Lavelle is my favorite player of all time. I'm like, okay, I don't like her anymore. She's not good. Like Landon Donovan thinks she's good. I don't think she's good now. Like it's just, I don't know. I did not care for her. I'm just kidding. No, she's been really good, and it's great to see them, get back to their winning ways a little bit. But again, we are one of those nations where we've got to win everything, whether that's baseball, whether that's Paralympics hockey, which I know we won the gold medal in this year. Like we've got to win everything, and women's soccer is one of the teams where we're a little bit. I would say we're a blue blood in. We are a blue blood. I think we have 4 World Cups now, so a World Cup championship. Yeah. So we let's add another one, and I think Emma Hayes does a really good job. I think she does a really good job of just kind of like bonding with the team a little bit, being a bit of a player's coach, because that's what players want to play for. I mean, obviously you want to be you kind of want to pick and choose your moments. Like I know Dusty May does a really good job of it, especially in the documentary. But I think she has a very good characteristic of, outside of her dance moves with Trinity Rodman, I think she does a pretty good job. That's my only knock on Emma Hayes, I would say, is her dance moves are kind of whatever it is.
I think they're working on them.
I mean, pick up on the sexy Dexy. I mean, pick up on it. I mean, Dexter Lawrence, who wants out of the Giants. I mean, go pick up on it. I mean, come on now.
Oh man, yeah. But yesterday was I think an indication of what's to come, and I think that's by the way, the triple espresso. To answer your question, I think you got.
I got
think
2
you
of the
got
3.
3 of them. Yeah, you did get 2 of the 3. Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson, Trinity Rodman.
Mallory Swanson.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Mallory Swanson. Yep. So
Is
that's
she?
the
I
that's
think-
the yeah.
Okay.
That's a triple espresso. So,
Gotcha. Yeah,
anyways,
no, I remember there was
I
3.
also think, yeah,
It's a good
and
nickname, by the way.
I do. I like that a lot,
I
and I do
forgot
think
what
they have.
Clint Dempsey and Alejandro Bedoya had a nickname back in the day for the men's national team. It was an interesting one. I gotta find it again.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, listen, the biggest part of it is, in my mind, is also when you get Emma Hayes into the room, and I think this was really important for USA Soccer, is implementing some of those ideas that we are seeing in terms of the level of training and the way that they train in a lot of these different places, and how, again, they had caught up, but Emma Hayes just brought a new school of ideas. But I think, again, she's just really immersed herself, and then that's been the best part about it.
They were the 3 amigos. That's who it was. Bedoya,
The
Dempsey.
3 amigos.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Jeff Cameron was the other one. Okay, yeah, they were the 3 amigos, and they didn't do anything because we didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup, but it was okay. That's what they were.
Yeah.
3 amigos.
So obviously the hope is that we can do better here in 2026. But even if not, like I said, something to get excited about in 27. But coming up in the second portion of our conversation, getting into all sports stuff, we will be talking about Dusty May and his contract.
You don't want to talk about
extension.
your pro rel stuff? You said you were getting to it. You teased it.
No, you know what? Let's set that one up for tomorrow. I think that'd be a really good conversation for tomorrow, because I know we've mentioned.
Wow, you're just gonna
we've
tease it and not
mentioned-
even get to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That
saying.
is
Well, that's what I'm
that is
saying.
a cardinal sin.
Either that, or maybe we'll talk about it while we're eating spicy hot wings or whatever, piping hot wings. Maybe that's the time to talk about pro rel, right? I mean, while we're dying on the okay. Anyways, moving on. Let's get into all sports on the other side. First, let's tell you about Barca Academy Camps. They are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy Camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30 or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you, fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca Camp, I see my son grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca Camp.
Time, hour number 2 here on Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Number 266 here, Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky. You getting a comment? I'd see that you cracking up at something over there. Oh, you left yourself muted, my friend.
Oops, my bad. Yeah, no, he's up to 6.4K likes. So he's gonna continue to keep going. I mean, I said save it for later. I mean, I'm doing the challenge later tonight if you get it to 5,000. But
20 sliders from White Castle. All right, man. I mean, hey, is there a White Castle in Grand Rapids? I don't even know if there's a White Castle near me. That's the other thing I got to figure out.
I know there's not a west. There's not one near Muskegon.
So only
if
on
you
the
live
east
close
side?
to Muskegon, there's not
Oh,
one nearby.
Muskegon. Okay. All right. You said there's one in Muskegon? No, I'm
No,
close to
there's none in
Muskegon. I'm only like,
Muskegon. There's none in
oh,
Muskegon.
what about Grand? Hold on. Let me, I know we got to get to the next part of our conversation, but I need to figure out if there's a White Castle near me. Okay. Flint. Yeah, not close. Howell. All right, close enough. I mean, it's like an hour. Or Maryville, Indiana. I guess I could get some if I'm in South
Indiana's
Bend.
your
We could
state.
do a flight there.
You go
I
meet
could do it with
Schrock.
Schrock. Yes,
Schrock
and I can.
Your favorite football team, the Indiana Hoosiers.
What the Hoosiers? No, well that's Indianapolis. Well, no, that's not Indianapolis. That's,
Bloomington.
yeah, which is I think is smack dab in the middle of the state. So I think that's like a 6-hour something drive.
You
I
gonna
could
make a
drive to
game this
Missouri
year?
at that point.
You gonna make a game this year?
Indiana football?
Yeah,
I would love to.
that's your
You
team.
want to come with?
man?
Let's go. Let's go. You and
No, I
and
ain't
me,
going.
and I'll be like an avid
I-
fan, and you can just like tell
No,
everyone they're the worst national champion ever.
Because
And
they
then,
are. It's the weakest national champion I've ever seen. Fernando's doing nothing in the NFL. Surratt's doing nothing in the NFL. Kamara's doing nothing.
he did have a bad pro day. It was not
Oh,
it
glory
was
to
not
God! Oh,
great.
glory to God! There's such a great
Yeah.
football team over there, and yeah, once that happens, the MLS Fernando's gonna get killed. Also, that offensive line overrated as could be. Ruben
You
Bain,
can not like
Mesidor,
Indiana, but still
dogs.
respect. You can still respect Kurt Signetti and what he does, though. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
glory to God!
You don't have to
when I
love
finally lose
Indiana.
a game, it's I get all. Yeah, you got boat raced.
Dusty May did it the same way Kurt Signetti did.
Dusty
and
May's
went
not
out
a
and won a
douchebag.
national championship.
Dusty May's not a
Wow.
douchebag like Signetti is.
Hey, come on, man. He sat in the front row in front of the student section to get I understand it was to watch warm-ups and he's not the one who directed people to take that picture of him. But come on, man. Come on. He likes the spotlight a little bit. I think different ways of going about it, sure. But anyways, I don't know. I don't know. I think they're
I'm
two.
waiting
I
for
think
the
they're two
day
pieces
for
of
you
the
to be
same
happy
pie.
that Indiana beat Michigan in football. I'm waiting for it. It's okay, guys. Indiana won.
No, not quite. You won't ever get that out of me. But let's get into our second half of our conversation here. Michigan 80 Ward Manuel said Dusty May had agreed to a contract extension. I believe it is 5 years through 2031 that Michigan has re-signed Dusty May. And Ryan, there are a lot of reasons why I love this. Obviously, number one, he won a national championship. That's the given reason. But the other part of this that I'll say is that what has struck me the most about Michigan winning that title is not
Is that the
necessarily
greatest team of all
just
time to do it?
them winning it. Yeah, you could say that. But what I'll say more than that is the attitude of Dusty May after they won that national championship. And we talked about this coming into the show today. The attitude of, we're going to hit the portal now. I understand we just did something we hadn't done in 37 years. I understand that even, no one out of the Big Ten had done it since 2000. The attitude of, we can't celebrate this now. We have to immediately get back to work. And then to see them bring back Cadeau. And then to see them bring back McKinney. And then to see the pickups that they got out of the portal.
They
No,
weren't leaving.
I understand. But they got to work to make sure that they had their 27 squad together immediately after the championship. Those are, in my personal opinion, those are Saban-like qualities. I understand everybody goes to work after, and I understand the national championship is going to have a positive effect on that. We mentioned it. Winning a championship changes everything. So them just simply winning it has changed the trajectory of this program forever. I understand what the Fab Five did, but
Fab Five is
even what the
overrated.
Fab Five did to Michigan, but it changed the trajectory of Michigan basketball. It
for
did.
the worse.
It's hard to deny that. No,
They changed it for
I
the
wouldn't
worse.
say- I mean, I understand they won a
They
championship.
didn't make the tournament
beforehand.
for a decade. after that all of it came out. They changed the trajectory for sure, but it was for the worse. And then we added Juwan and the coaching staff, and we had the worst season of all time. I wouldn't say the Fab Five changed the trajectory for the better.
Well, there were a few years between the Fab Five and Juwan Howard, but I get what you're saying. But anyways, you have 2 trips to the national championship since then, but I just love how quickly Dusty May got back to work and really started putting this next squad together. Because that's the thing that is in terms of the 5-year contract and his ability to put rosters together, just that attitude of, we can't celebrate it right now. It's directly into next year and getting ready for what this team is going to look like in 27.
Attaboy, Fabian. How about them Hurricanes, baby? It's a Canes thing. That's why, what? Fabian always be annoying me in the comment section sometimes, but hey. Attaboy, Fabian. It's a Canes thing. Greatest college football team of all time, 2001 Miami. I'll say this. I'm not going to glaze anything about Dusty May for what he did after the tournament. You did your job. You're doing your job, Dusty. Congrats, man. You're doing your job. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm more impressed about the roster that he constructed and how quickly he constructed it. And he's still a hard ass. I know people don't want to say he's a hard ass, but based on the documentary, I mean, the dude's kind of a hard ass. We just don't see it very often. Just the way that he, the style of play that he's playing, the big bully ball that they have, and big ball is a thing, and it's coming back to college basketball. It's making its way back to the NBA. I mean, there's only a few teams that do it, and Florida and Duke and Michigan are 3 of the teams that do it the best. And to take an 8-24 roster, which shout out the Fab Five for. And winning it with 2 guys from that team, and then winning it with basically castaways outside of Yaxel Lenneborg, and I guess Trey McKinney was a McDonald's All-American, but no one really expected it. I mean, Cadeau was basically kicked to the curb, whereas Johnson was a bench guy, and Adai Mara were bench guys. The only high recruit was Yaxel. I guess you could count Trey McKinney as a high recruit since he was a McDonald's All-American. Sure, we can count him as that. But Cheddar, no. Burnett was a former 5-star, but he did nothing in his college basketball career. And Roddy Gale was, outside of, March Roddy Gale and April Roddy Gale is like the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm dying on that hill. March and April Roddy Gale is the greatest thing ever. It's better than LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I'm just saying. But no, the way he constructed the roster, I think was great. And he said it himself. He doesn't think he would be able to ever do that again. But I think the way that he got this team to buy in over the summer with the camping trips and the fishing trips and all being up north in northern Michigan in the summer, he's done a really good job of bringing the guys together. And he's kind of like an Emma Hayes in a way of he knows when to be a friend or a colleague or whatever, but he knows when to be a coach at the same time. So he's definitely building a good culture. Great, he got to the portal right away, but if we're going to say it about that, we're going to say that about every college football head coach who was in the playoffs, who didn't even win a national championship.
I think it's okay to praise his work and how quickly he's gotten back to work and putting the team together for 2027.
He's supposed to do that.
Re-signing Cadeau and re-signing McKinney. I know, but that's not a given that you're able
weeks ago, though. Before the Sweet 16, McKinney and Cadeau said that they were coming back. It was finally announced to the public that they agreed a deal, which is still crazy to think. In college athletics, we got to agree to a deal to come back.
But you can say whatever you want to say. How many times have we heard people say, I'm sticking around, I'm not going anywhere, and then the next day they're in the transfer portal or they're somewhere else? We can't just assume that that's a given just because they said they're coming back.
I get
what you're
to everyone that we're coming back. So it's not a shock to say I will be impressed if a Morez Johnson or an Adai Mara comes back. I'll be impressed by one of those two. But Cadeau and McKinney were coming back. Everyone knew that. It's like, am I going to sit there and praise Dusty May for doing his job? I guess. You just won a national championship. What's more impressive is what he did building up to the national championship. Not because he sat there and was like, we hit the portal, haven't really slept that much. We're trying to get back.
But the point about delayed gratification and how now is not the time to really,
every coach does
sit
it.
And bask in the sun.
I
I
Even
get
in
it,
the Red
but
Wings
it's that
dynasty,
sort of
Stevie was like, we
but
got to prepare. He's like, I wanted to celebrate,
Right.
but we had to. Everyone's preparing for the
Right,
drafts and free
dynasty.
agency. It happens all the
You're-
time.
right.
It
You're
just
proving my
happens
point here.
that
Dynasty.
they win a
That,
national.
like,
Michigan wins a national championship in a big sport, and we don't have our coach who's like, you know what? I might go to the
Right.
Chargers. I might not, and then I'm going to go to the Chargers. Like,
Right,
that's the
but
only
that's what I'm
difference.
saying. To be a dynasty, you have to treat it this way. Your example was Stevie Y there. The example was Saban and the way that he operated after winning championships. I mean, the
example.
guy never smiled. The guy never smiled. You looked at him, you're like, you just won the national championship. Like, what's wrong with you? The first thing that's on his mind is, how are we going to attack recruiting tomorrow? How are we going to get back to work like after today ends? Like, the delayed gratification, it comes later. Like, yes, you won the championship, and it's impressive just how quickly. I mean, it was just like banger after banger after banger when it came to free agency in Michigan basketball. And no, that's not just by mistake. That's not just doing you don't just roll out of bed and get some of the guys they've already gotten out of the portal. It's huge, including the recruiting wins. So that is the point of what I'm trying to get to here, is that again, we talk about dynasty, like multiple championships is a dynasty. And I don't think going back
3
to back
championships is a dynasty.
Okay, but I don't think going
Two's
back
not.
to back is necessarily out of reach. Dan Hurley did it. Dusty May just went to a Final Four with FAU and then comes over to Michigan and wins a national championship in year 2. It is completely realistic to think that they could go back and do it again. But in order to do that, you have to do what Michigan is doing right now in the portal, which is just one
they've
after
got
another.
one guy so far. They haven't done anything in the portal. They got one guy,
But
JP Estrella. They
There's
struck out on
more coming,
Badunga, which, by the way, I ain't paying $5 million for that guy.
No,
I also
I
ain't going to
wouldn't
pay
either, but-
$5.5 million for Drew Karras. You could walk after that. But Dusty May hasn't done anything yet in the portal. He got JP Estrella. Maybe he gets more dogs, but he's gotten one guy in the portal. It's not like he's gotten 4 or 5, or he's somehow flipped the number 1 and number 2 guy in the portal. Which, by the way, transfer portal rankings very hit or miss because.
And they're weird. They're weird too. I feel like they're not always accurate. Like
Terrace
I don't know.
Reed
They're
was
just,
like ranked 76th, and then UConn got a same center in the same portal class at like 25 ranked, and Terrace Reed was miles better. So it's what I'll say is this with the whole transfer portal stuff is don't read too much into it, because I mean I like Jackson Shelstead, but I mean Badunga, $5 million for a guy who can't shoot a jump shot consistently is crazy to me. I think he would. I mean, I guess you could. I mean, Daimara was probably making maybe $1 million because he was a bench guy. But to sit here, like, yes, I love that Dusty May is my head coach. I absolutely love it. But Saban-like tendencies, every coach does that. So then we got to say that about every single coach who does it. That they just were like, let's work on the portal. Like, yeah, congrats, man. Like, you're supposed to do that. I mean, but Cadeau and McKinney were coming back regardless. I will be more impressed if a Mara or a Merez comes back. That's like Cadeau and McKinney were always coming back. They always were.
Yeah.
But
and Mara could be a huge swing piece for Michigan too, just because of the way he plays. And the thing that's most impressive about Mara too, especially in the tournament when you watch the way that he played, everyone thought he was a defensive liability. Like, it's just like, well, just make Mara play defense.
He was in certain parts of the season, yes.
And he was. And that was the focus. But the defensive part of his game, my God, especially at the end of the tournament, I mean, the dude was playing some defense. So I am, if he can, like I said, if he can pack on some weight, I think he'll be great in the NBA. But you're right. No, I think that would be a massive swing piece for Dusty May to get Mara back. I think that would mean everything, especially on the lob threat with Cadeau.
I would say, though, at the same time, I think Michigan's defense was unbelievable all the way around from 1 through 5. I mean, they switched 1 through 4 the whole time. And, I mean, to be honest, though, he didn't play a true big until Arizona game because Alabama didn't have a big. Howard Avila, but dude was in foul trouble the whole time. But I didn't think Avila was that sweet to begin with. It was just the Spartans hyping him up. And then Tennessee didn't have a big either. I mean, J.P. Estrella is their big, or Carey is their big. But no, he played really good in the Final Four, but I think that was a team effort to do that. I think defensively, if you go back and look at some of the clips, like defensively, they were stout. They were unbelievable switching everything. And then that's contagious, too, at the same time. And it started with Cadeau, and then Mara was like, let me just alter every single shot you have to throw at us. And he did that. He was great. But I think Mara's gone. But I think Merez is the one player that you could see come back. I think it is. I think he's a player because if he develops, he's like a beef stew. He just is like, Could maybe hit the three-pointer. Very good at attacking the rim. Athletic as all could be. Defensively, really good. Great at rebounding. But offensively, he's just missing a little bit of that game because I think he's, 6'9", I think?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
6'9" in the NBA without a consistent three-point shot, it's you got to find.
Or you could be Draymond Green. Or you could be Draymond.
Yeah, but that means you got to find a really good spot that fits you. Like,
yeah.
Draymond Green fit really well with the Warriors because he set such great screens. He's good offensively.
Yeah.
He's a good offensive mind. But you put Draymond Green without the Splash Brothers, I don't necessarily know if Draymond Green has that type of a career. And you look at B. Stu, the reason he's so good with the Pistons is because, like, Detroit just loves, I don't want to say dirty players, but a little bit of
Warriors
crash
were a
shots, a little bit
500
of
team
grit to
all
'em.
time. Warriors were a 500 team all time going into last year without Draymond on the floor. So I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. But no,
well,
I hear what you're.
I mean, the Warriors aren't what the Warriors used to be anymore, so there's something to be said about that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But he's
he
just
also
getting older.
cost them
They're all getting older.
He also cost them a finals in 2016. So
yeah, they're all getting older. I don't like I don't ever stand for the Draymond disrespect. I don't know why that ever gets to me
what?
more than
Because without
anything
the
else. But
Splash Brothers, he's not that good.
no, he would have been great. Would he
Where?
be as
Where would he
as
been
many
good at?
NBA championships? Anywhere, dude. Draymond Green is the
Where?
first. What was it? The first player in NBA history to reach 500 in rebounds, points, and assists in his career. Like, yeah, okay, he's one of the more versatile players. And
the assists, he's got the greatest shooters
argue,
around him. He was with a super team. I mean,
I'm not saying he wasn't a good
Kevin
fit.
Durant
That's
and
not
the two greatest shooters of all, the greatest shooter of all time, and one of the
That's
other
not
greatest shooters
saying-
of all time.
I'm not saying he wasn't on a great team, dude. I'm already telling you, he probably wouldn't have won maybe one NBA championship. I don't know where else, but I still think he would have been a great player. I still think he's a very versatile player. He's great. I would argue one of the best that Izzo ever developed. I mean, at Michigan State. If not, I mean, obviously the best.
His two games were vastly different between Michigan State and the Warriors.
No, that's
And
fair. Yeah, I mean,
second round pick. He was a second rounder, and he only developed because he realized. He said it himself. He goes, "The only way I'm going to see the floor is if I set screens for the Steph Curry guy and just give him the ball. It's the only way I'm going to see the floor in this thing."
prolific rebounder, great defender. I don't know. I mean, I understand people
so
don't look at
So would you
that
say
is
so would
valuable,
you say the
but
Bulls don't win championships without Dennis Rodman? Because he was, even though
it's certainly
Jordan won 3 without Dennis Rodman.
I wouldn't say they wouldn't win championships, but I mean, it certainly would have made an impact. But I mean, I don't think Rodman didn't really grow up until he was with the Pistons. Like Rodman was young, but he
got drafted by the
raw.
Pistons.
Right. But like he took all that from Detroit. So I mean, yeah. So I don't. Yeah,
he won 3 without Dennis.
Yeah, that's fair. But I don't know. It would have made that second Bulls team, that second iteration was different than the first 3. The second 3 was that was just they were a bulldozer, that team. But yeah, I don't know. I still think Draymond would have been great, personally.
9.5K likes. Wow, Fabian. That's you really. Oh, and he answered the YouTube chat. Okay, wow. Hey, this guy's dedicated. White Castle's not that good, Fabian, and you don't even like it unless you're under the influence of stuff. You said that, so.
Well, I think is that why he's trying to make us eat White Castle, because he doesn't like White Castle? Is that what he's trying to get at here? He's trying to make us suffer because I
said I would suffer with something else other than White Castle because there's no way in the world that I'm finishing 20 sliders. I mean, look at me. I weigh like 160, 165 if I got some water weight in there, maybe. I don't know. But like I ain't eating 20 sliders.
Yeah. That would go down like a ton of bricks, especially White Castle
How many sliders
would
do you
go
think
down.
you could eat?
I mean, I could probably do the 20. I mean, they're sliders, right? Like if I was truly
You could eat 20
dedicated to
sliders?
it, probably if I was dedicated to it, if I was really like didn't eat for a little bit, yeah, probably. I think you could do it too. I think you're underselling yourself here. I think you are perfectly capable of putting back 20 sliders.
Not capable of putting back 20 sliders. No way.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out, man. Get us those likes. Appreciate you, big dog. But let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the Pistons. what matchup we would like to see in the playoffs. Them and the Hornets has become a fun little rivalry between those two. Plus, I would like to just beat those clowns for other reasons. But Man City Soccer Camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30, and that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you, usacamps.mancity.com. Into topic number 2, we are in hour number 2 on the National Soccer Network in Inside the Game. Nate Wangler, Ryan Glinsky. I think we're working on a combined 8 hours sleep, both Ryan and I right now. So we are powering through here this episode on 266. Are we going to have to eat White Castle? Are we there? Have we arrived at the White Castle yet? Okay. All right.
Not
All right.
there
We're
yet.
getting there slowly but surely. But let's get into some Pistons talk. A little bit of a brush up between them and the Hornets in their most recent game. Brandon Miller, who I just personally I just hate that dude. What do you got over there?
So Fabian used to be he used to do competitive eating, I guess. He says, I ate on a bet 35 sliders. And he said he also has Fabian, it says I won't tell you what the TikTok live says, but it's not 10K. And but he said he also ate 24 slices of pizza, man. I don't how could you eat all that?
Oh, that's like 2 whole pizzas, right? It has to be. I imagine 12 is 1
No,
and
that'd be
24
3.
is probably 2.
That'd
3
be 3.
pizzas?
3 pizzas. Because it's 8, I think.
Ooh. What kind of pizzas we talking about here? Little Caesars, or are you like over here eating deep dish pizzas?
I will say I've had I don't believe I ate Little Caesars pizza at the Red Wings game. I don't believe that was real Little Caesars pizza. Hey, now you're at
What the hell did you
10K,
think it was?
Fabian. You finally
Hey.
you've made 10K likes. I think that is now tied for the most liked TikTok live stream we've ever had.
Okay.
The one on Saturday was
right.
10,000. I know that. You and Rafi and you guys were dedicated to get 10K. There's one time I was gonna end a live and he's like, Fabian was like, don't end the live. Let me get you to 6,000 likes. I think this was last week. So Fabian's dedicated to the likes. Appreciate you, Fabian, as always. New York City pizza it was. Jeez.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Okay. Not saying it's easy by any stretches, but they got that thin crust pizza, that paper pizza, which is really good, by the way. Big fan of it. It's like that's why they fold it over, because it's so freaking paper thin. But yeah, that's
Telling you,
freaking impressive, man.
If you gave me the Little Caesars pizza at the club level of the Red Wings game, I'd eat 3 pizzas of that. That was not real pizza. I don't know. That wasn't real. Like that was like one of the greatest slices. That was like one of the greatest pizzas I've ever had.
So I'm almost curious if you can look up something online and actually like show it on the screen, because I would be interested if he would ever be willing to eat it's called the Fifth Third Burger. It's what the ballpark that I work in used to be called. It is a 5,000 calorie burger. It literally only fits in a pizza box, and you can't even like close the box. And I think the eating challenge is, I forget how many innings you had to finish it. But it's like 20,000 milligrams of sodium. Like you got like chili in there, you got beef, you got queso, I mean, it is, yeah, no reversals, by the way, or you don't get your name on the plaque. I think that's what it was. I think we had a big plaque and Man versus Food, actually, oddly enough, came to the ballpark and did the competition. He ended up winning, obviously, but put his name up on the plaque, put his face on the wall. Like it was a cool little thing. We were known for our ballpark food for a little bit. Now, obviously, we're known for, some other things, but yeah, the Man versus Food, the Fifth Third Burger, that thing was just, it was grotesque. There it is. The Fifth Third
Fabian,
Burger.
would you eat
So
this?
5,000 calories.
This. He says he's also ate 30 Nathan's hot dogs, and I just had bariatric surgery. That's why I'm an ex-competitive eater. Yeah, man.
Okay. So I got a question. For him. Do you? Because I got the chance to meet Joey Chestnut 2 years ago. Came to a Great Lakes Loons game. He was eating olive burgers, which an olive burger eating contest just makes me want to jump off a bridge, even thinking about it. But he came up in the booth. He had an interview with the Loons radio broadcast, and I talked to him, and I asked him, I'm like, so do you make yourself throw up? Is that something that you do after these competitions? Because ain't no way that you can't after eating that many hot dogs. And he actually talked about how, like, professional eating, like, they train for these things, like expanding their stomach and figuring out different ways to fit more food inside of them. And actually, yes, sometimes they do that after they eat all this food, especially
Fabian
for practice. And I'm like,
6-pound steak with potatoes and beans. He ate the a cowboy steak, I think. 6-pound
cowboy steak.
Jeez, man.
This guy, man.
Why do you guys do this to yourself, man? That's why I'll eat one hot thing and just take the suffering for one thing. I don't want to eat more than that.
The fame, man, for the same reason that I'm about to smash 20 sliders, apparently. The fame and the notoriety. I think that's what professional eaters really
I just think about how the New York Giants suck, and afterwards I throw up. Okay. Okay. I get you.
Right.
Hey, they got a good core. They got a good young core.
Yeah,
I'd say.
You got a new coach and everything. I think the Giants will be fine. I think maybe they'll be a sleeper next year. We'll see what happens. But
whoa, that's like 6 figures, Fabian. Like 300, comma 000. Is that what you're talking about? Like U.S. dollars? No way. He said he's made $300,000 on bets by eating. I think eating. You sure?
Ooh.
Are you sure you made $300,000 on eating challenges? No way.
Are there parlays we can do? Is this on DraftKings? Can we bet on
So who do you bet?
Just
you just bet
with you.
people like in
who's
the
betting?
restaurant? You're like, I
So
got
he's out
20,
here-
you can't
so-
do it. Okay. Like,
so instead of playing pool, he's out here hustling people at the dinner table. He's like,
So-
how much you want to bet? Wow.
I need this guy to respond.
Ain't no way. No way. 300,000.
There's no way. All right.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I would throw, like, if some guy was like, how much you want to bet I can eat all this? I would probably throw some money at it, especially if it was like freaking 30 hot dogs. Like, ain't no way in hell you could do that. Here's the other thing. A lot of great professional eaters are not like traditionally large people. Like, a lot of them are like,
Okay. He says yes. He did make that much. He says he would bet people that would call me out. So, like, in the restaurant, they'd like, I bet you can't do it. And you're just like, bet. And, wow. I did not know that. That's awesome.
So where did I'm curious now where he would hustle these people. We just find
Ooh, that's a good
restaurants you
point.
like and
You
just
go to White
walk in
Castle and hustle them.
Yeah. So it's all coming together, man. It's all
So
coming
he wants
together.
to
All the
bet
dots
us
are
that
connected now.
He wants to bet that we
Yeah.
can't do it. Okay, I see what you're doing, Fabian. I see what
All
you're doing.
right.
I see what
I
you're
see
doing.
it. All right. So I guess here's the how much. Well, how much you want to bet, Fabian, that I can eat all those sliders? Huh? See what goes around comes around. Give me a chunk of that 300,000. I'll eat your sliders. Don't worry about it. That's awesome though, man. I love professional eaters are fascinating.
Okay,
dude.
he said he would tell them $2,000 for pizzas. Wow.
Per pizza.
I would see fat people like me
Just
and
kidding.
bet. Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay. I see what you're doing. I see
Wow.
what you're doing, Fabian. Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
All right. Let's talk about the Pistons.
All right, man. Yeah, let's get into Pistons talk. I didn't think professional eating was going to be in hour number 2, but I like it, to be honest with you. But yeah, a little bit of a brush up between the Hornets and the Pistons in their most recent game. Pistons winning
Shocker.
out. Obviously, the 1 seed is already locked up. The Hornets are a play-in team, so this isn't. It very well could happen, and it very well could be that we are watching these two teams compete in the playoffs. And what I will say is that something I feel like about the modern NBA, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but I feel like when I was growing up once upon a time, even with the Cavs and the Warriors years ago, we had a lot of really good rivalries, whether that be in the Eastern Conference, whether it be in the Western Conference. I feel like rivalries in a lot of ways have just kind of gone away. Like, Bulls and Pistons. Okay, we've had some good games against that team, some heated matchups, but outside of that, I really wouldn't say this Pistons team has like a set rival. I mean, they can be a pest to anybody, but in seeing the
Knicks are getting there.
the Knicks, exactly. But to see the theatrics and the butting of heads between the Hornets and the Pistons, the reason why I like this as a rivalry is because I feel like the Pistons have now become established. We know who they are. We know what they bring in terms of Cade and the way that they're constructed, and obviously the hopes that they can make a run in the East. And I think with Cade being back and looking healthy the way he does, now obviously he's not 100%, we're right back in the position to where we want to be. I think when Cade was out of the picture, there were some anxious moments there, but I still think this is a team that's capable of going to an NBA championship. The Hornets, for the first time in really my lifetime, are showing signs of life. And I gotta give credit. Although I think the kid's a little shit, I think LaMelo Ball is tremendous. Him and Con Knipple just being
Got
one
dumb
3-pointer
tattoos.
separated in terms of what they've done all year with their shooting is crazy. But they're turning into, and I wouldn't even go down the road of being like the Warriors or the Splash Brothers when they began. But the dynamic to the way they play and being so 3-point heavy, but also having marksmen, just absolute dead-eye shooters, the way that Con Knipple and LaMelo Ball are, you start to see some of those elements coming about. And obviously Brandon Miller's really good too. I think he's a dickhead, but I think they have a lot of really good pieces. Same with Miles Bridges. They're just unlikable. But I think if there's one team that
do
can
a lot
actually
of dumb stuff.
get through to the Pistons, push their buttons a little bit, especially when it comes to beef stew, it's the Hornets. And sometimes you need a little bit of that to be able to take a team out of the picture. Now, again, even with all that, that shit talking and everything they did, they still lost the game. So it's still the Hornets at the end of the day. But I just think for the entertainment component of it, seeing them and the Pistons in the playoffs would be great.
I just would say there's 2 teams I don't want to play, and they're the Hornets and the Heat. Maybe we don't even play either one of them just because if the winner of the 76ers and Magic plays the Celtics, and then the winner of the the loser of that wins against the Hornets and the Heat. I'll say the NBA playing is stupid at this point. Like, it made sense during COVID, but it's just stupid now. This is why the NBA is just stupid sometimes, man. They just do too much stuff. But no, I think there is a true I think they're starting to become a true rivalry. Because if you hear stuff from fans, I don't think the Knicks fans like the Pistons, and I don't think the Pistons like the Knicks, and I don't think the players like each other either. And God, I hate Jalen Brunson as well. So I think there is a true rivalry. But in terms of the Hornets, I mean, I think it is just a bunch of, they they've all like kind of had they've like all had encounters with the law if you think about it. Bridges,
Yeah.
Brandon Miller has, LaMelo has technically.
LaMelo shouldn't be driving vehicles anymore. He should that dude should just
Miles
be
Bridges
Ubered
shouldn't be
everywhere
playing.
that he.
Miles Bridges shouldn't even be playing.
But freaking Brandon Miller shouldn't be playing if
That
we're gonna
too,
if
and
we're
that
gonna go
was in
there. Like
college. So like this whole concept of the Hornets, like they shouldn't even be there. Like they shouldn't. Like they're all having encounters with the law, and it's just like, first off, LaMelo, I don't know what you're doing, man. Trying to hold beef stew in the middle of the game, like, dude, you're going to get whooped. Like you are a little boy compared to beef stew, but beef stew, for whatever reason, and like and even Moussa Diabate, another one. I know he hasn't had troubles with the law, but he's another one that's going to go after you. And it's funny that the Pistons don't even want to shake the Hornets' hand like after a game. Like I think they would love to play the Pistons. I personally don't want to play the Pistons, but I'll also tell you this: the reason I don't want to play the Hornets is not that I don't think we'd win. I think we'd still win the series. Is the issue when it comes to the second round is do we have players suspended because of a fight or maybe a couple technical fouls? Like, do we have suspensions for that? And that's the issue that I kind of have with playing the Hornets. And I also don't want to play the Heat because of, I mean, look, it's the Heat, man. They make runs all the time. Like they always
they're just a
do.
good playoff team.
Yeah,
They
like,
find a way to win in the
They
playoffs.
went as an 8 seed. I get it. They don't have Jimmy buckets and they're not the Heat of the old, but like they're
The Heat
good
culture.
enough to go maybe win a couple games against the Pistons in the first round. They're capable of doing that. So that's just the two teams I don't want to see. The Magic, the 76ers, I think they'd be fine with, which is funny. Like the Magic were supposed to overtake the Pistons this year in the NBA in the East, and yet that's just not the case. The Pistons are the one, and the Magic are just a play-in. But those are two teams I just don't want to play. I still don't think this is I still don't think they make the finals. I still don't think this is a team that even. Yeah, they're not going to win the finals, but I don't even think they make the finals. I think they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. I wouldn't even be surprised if they lost in the semifinals to the Cavs or something. So I would not be surprised if this team did not make the finals, would not be surprised if they didn't even make the Eastern Conference Finals. I just think that they are lacking that second star, and I think it might show at certain points in the playoffs.
I think they're a gutsy. They're a really gutsy defensive team. I think that matters in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, to your point, yeah, it could certainly matter. I don't want to play against the Magic because I don't want to cheer against Franz and Mo. I don't want to see those guys playing against the Pistons.
That doesn't bother me at all.
But anyways, no. Two Michigan legends. Franz definitely deserved at least a championship. But anyways, no, I just think for the Hornets, that's just who they are. That's just their identity. Like it's just, and I hate it because of what it could mean. But I will say credit to Isaiah Stewart for holding back during the latest skirmish. I mean, we were talking about it before we got into this conversation about how the camera kind of panned directly to him, and rightfully so. If I'm that producer, he's the first person I'm looking for. Yeah, just staring across the way. He's the first guy I'm looking for in that scenario, and rightfully so. So he was able to hold back. I think this Pistons team has now kind of turned a corner when it pertains to these certain things. I think they realize the position they're in and what they don't.
Maybe
You're right.
We shouldn't fight every 2 seconds.
Right. So we don't want to sacrifice what it is that we've done. Again, be gutsy, play the way that you play, but don't put yourself in compromising situations. So I think to see what Isaiah Stewart was doing, it's like, okay, they've matured a little bit. So I wouldn't say I'm scared of the Hornets. I just think
I'm not scared to play them. I'm just scared of the repercussions that we could have later on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more frightened of.
Right.
It's look,
right.
The Pistons would beat
But
the
I'm saying
Hornets
I think they've hit that they've matured. That's what I'm trying to get to. I think they've matured.
Just saying, like, heat of the moment, playoffs, everything on the line.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
I don't want any suspensions or ejections or technical foul issues or whatever it is. So
yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, I think they would be a fun matchup. I also think the Sixers would be a fun matchup just simply because of the dynamic with Tobias Harris, and beating them in the playoffs would probably feel really good. But now I think it would be an entertaining series to play the Hornets, and I think that's why the fan base is clamoring for it, because they want to see that. They want to see that intensity. But you're thinking 2 steps ahead here. You're thinking of what's going to happen the following series, which that's fair. I just hope that this young team has obviously matured enough going into the playoffs to not run into those same situations, because I just, This year is going to mean a ton. This playoff run is going to mean everything for what the future of this organization is, no doubt. So let's take a step aside though. When we come back, let's talk about a little bit about the Wings. They were booed on Fan Appreciation Night, the 100th anniversary of Red Wings hockey, and it fell apart. They've been eliminated from the playoffs yet again. There really isn't a lot left to be said that hasn't already been said from us about the Red Wings, but I think they deserved it, and Todd McClellan certainly backed that up during the post-game presser after the game. Actually, it was 2 nights ago. Not yesterday, but 2 nights ago. So let's talk about that on the other side here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics,
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
whether it's a championship win or a legendary play.
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
Call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
Back in here in hour number 2 on Inside the Game, episode 266. Again, you can follow us on social media at National Soccer Network or Sports Nation PMG. Again, that is sports with a Z.
Sportsnation.tv.
We'll be posting
There's no PMG.
Sports Nation. .tv. Okay, sorry, my bad. .tv. But we roll along here in episode number 266. Did you get another comment from Fabian?
Yeah, he just wants to talk about Real Madrid and how Mbappe sucks.
Okay. All right.
I would
well-
agree with you, Fabian. I think Real Madrid is quite trash, my friend. I think there's a lot of we've talked about it on the TikTok lives all the time. I said there's a lot of individuals, there's a lot of superstars that Finney Jr., man, I think he's a little bit of a bitch, to be honest with you, Fabian. I know you like the Brazilians and all that stuff, but I just feel like his antics on the field, off the field is a little bit much. Obviously, we know what happened against Benfica. No one should have that happen ever again.
Yeah.
But there's lots of things leading up to it that can make you hate. Oh, gotcha, Fabian. Now, you would love to see Puerto Rico Surf versus a USL2 team of yours. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know how the league could make that happen, but make it happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I know you're
Yeah.
a Real Madrid fan. But I know that, like, the season, obviously, if you guys don't win the Champions League, I think Arbeloa is gone. I don't know who in the world you guys would want to hire or try to hire. Maybe you go after Jurgen Klopp, maybe? I don't know. I think Jurgen Klopp would be kind of fun in Real Madrid, to be honest with you, Fabian. Let me know what you think. But, no, I just think that there's too many individuals on this team. I just think that it's just not the Real Madrid of old. I think Barcelona, their resurgence since 2020 is really their whole youth movement. Pedri, Lamine Yamal, and all those guys. I think they've just kind of overtaken you a little bit. So, that's what I would say about Real Madrid. I know that's your team. I know we'll talk about it later tonight as well.
They're examining wrong knees and stuff too, and allegedly using Chat GPT. I mean, come on, man! Like,
Clint
what the
Dempsey
heck?
as a coach? Yeah, Clint Dempsey will just go manage Los Blancos real quick.
Yeah, could.
Are you a Puerto Rico Surf board member? Is that what you're saying, Fabian? I don't know what you're talking about. There, he just says, "I am Puerto Rico. I am a Puerto Rico Surf." So I was like,
I am
surfer?
Puerto Rico.
You surf in Puerto Rico? I don't know exactly what you're talking about there.
They got.
You
I guess
follow
hanging
all
10.
three. Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's what you mean. Flamingo, Real Madrid, and Puerto Rico Surf. Yeah, I don't know if you know the Puerto Rico Surf people. I mean, we aren't we just broadcast the games. That's another thing. Like, people think we influence coaching decisions and stuff like that. Like, I remember we've gotten DMs
What?
where if you ever seen the TikTok DMs, there's like, well, I know you know all the coaches. Like, could you get me hooked up with one of the coaches? It's like, I don't know, man. Like, we're just the broadcast people. Like, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
we're
actually,
just media, man. We're just
we
we're
don't
just
actually
yeah.
just go out and like recruit and whatnot. But no, like we don't influence anything. We just broadcast all the different leagues and distribute all their stuff and talk about them. Obviously, we'll get a whole bunch of USL. We'll get a whole bunch of USL2 coaches on when the season gets rolling and just before the season. I think we're just under a month from the season starting, so maybe you can hop in the chat and we'll ask the coaches for you then.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, get in on the conversation. Absolutely. Let's get into our final topic here in hour number 2 on Inside the Game here, 266. The Red Wings officially eliminated from the playoffs. The drought now spanning to 10 years. It is the longest in the National Hockey League.
Let's go Red Wings.
We don't deserve Hockey Town anymore, man.
It hasn't been
we just don't deserve it. You can't claim Hockey Town and miss the playoffs for 10 years. You can't claim Hockey Town and flame out in March every single season. This team, I would much rather, and I've said this before, I would much rather cheer for a team that is just terrible, just straight terrible, and doesn't even give me a hope, rather than cheer for a team. Yes, then comes all the way down to the end and just absolutely falls down the stairs. And here's what he's a Devils fan.
Hughes.
Oh, all right. I'll give him that. I like the Devils growing up because they had Marty Brodeur, and he was my favorite goalie.
What country is he from?
In the NHL? Brodeur, I think he's from Canada. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he's from Canada. Anyways, we didn't have a lot of great American goaltenders. That's our goal. Yeah, it's like Ryan Miller Ryan Miller was great. I'm just saying Marty Brodeur was my favorite.
You don't like Hellebuck?
I do like Connor Hellebuck. No, I do like Connor Hellebuck. Swayman's good for Boston, although I don't like Boston all that much. But there's some good. Like I said, Ryan Miller was the dude. Ryan Miller was my other favorite. All right, during the Olympics in 2010 at a 1.3 goals against average.
You're like
wild.
Brodeur.
Brodeur is my favorite, though. I'm just saying, I'm saying it's French. Okay. Oui. I think. Anyways, no, but just utter disappointment in Detroit. And listen, guys, they deserved every bit of that treatment. And I have to give Todd McClellan a little bit of credit because he was like,
he's been saying it for months.
There's an expectation here, but we deserve every little bit of it because what the winged wheel used to signify. Now, I know that this is a fascinating case study in differences in age between Ryan and I, with me being, and I know I'm only 7 years older than you, so it's not like I'm, 50 or whatever. But even I remember from I remember watching them I watched them win a Stanley Cup. I watched them make the playoffs. I watched them do all of these things as a kid. And now to see the futility that has been really the last decade, it is this part of my mind where the winged wheel still signified to me a winning franchise in a dynasty. But to people your age, the winged wheel doesn't really mean shit.
No,
it doesn't really mean anything.
Mid and trash.
Because the winged wheel has not been indicative of a team that's going to win and give the people of the city of Detroit what it gave them for the longest time, which is we are going to see a winner, that's what the Wings were through several different segments of everybody else sucking. Now it's the opposite.
Yeah, for sure, Fabian. USA will win another Miracle 80 and Miracle 26. Yeah, we're going to win it for sure in the World Cup. He mentions that all the time in the live stream. He's like, you guys are going to win it. Just think Miracle on 80, which, by the way, Nate doesn't claim Miracle on Ice anymore, just based on his recent choices. But no, I would say, first off, Fabian, that's not happening. We're not winning a World Cup. If we were to win a World Cup, I would actually eat 20 White Castle sliders for you if we actually did that. But we aren't winning a World Cup. But for the Dead Wings, I just would say, like, there's got to be some. Again, I'm so tired of hearing, well, this is an important offseason. This is the most important offseason. Well, I think you've got to make some hard decisions. I think you look at the Devil Nacho instead of White Castle. What about one Devil Nacho? One chip challenge. Check it out. Okay, I'll check it out. Gosh.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Probably not then.
I've seen that challenge.
I would say this. I would say this about it. You've got to make a decision. I think 40 white. Okay, no, I can't even eat 20. So you've got to make a decision on trading either one of two players. I think you got to trade either Trey Augustine or Sebastian Cosa because you don't need two goalies. It's like having two catchers in the farm system. You've got to get rid of one of them because, I mean, who are these prospects up to this point? I was told Marco Kasper was going to be great, and he's been nothing but mid ever since. He's done absolutely nothing. Edvinsson is kind of bleh. Stevie's done everything. Stevie actually made moves at the deadline to help the team, and that didn't really matter. Justin Falk actually had like 2 goals, I think, against the Devils. And he scored against Columbus, so he's been good. But, like, do you strip Dylan Larkin of the captaincy? That's the real question. Do you strip Dylan Larkin of the captaincy, or do you trade Dylan Larkin or Lucas Raymond? That's a good question that you have. I think, if anything, you might have to trade because you've got to get more prospects in here because we know you can't identify Stevie Y. We know you can't identify pro talents. Your pro talent scouting has been awful ever since you've been here. You've made one really good NHL draft choice in Mo Seider, and you've made one okay draft choice in Lucas Raymond. But I think it comes down to, at a bare minimum this offseason, you strip Dylan Larkin of the captaincy at a bare minimum because for the last couple of March collapses, there's been at least one constant in all of it, and that's Dylan Larkin being the captain. As the leader of the team, Dylan, after you were a part of Team USA and winning a gold medal, you know at least what it takes to win at the highest of levels because you beat Team Canada with arguably one of the greatest forward lines of all time, is what people were saying, the hockey elite, that is. You know what it takes, yet every single March, you are the captain, Dylan. I get it. You're from the state of Michigan. You played at the University of Michigan. I get it. I like you as a player. I think you're good. I think you get a lot of hate for no reason. But at some point, are you even capable of being the captain? Because you could be a really good player, but not a good leader. There's a ton of examples of that. But if you aren't if you're the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, which Lindstrom's been the captain, Stevie Y has been the captain, Henrik Zetterberg has been a captain. Should we get Xavier Iniesta to be the head coach? Sure, that's what we should get for the Red Wings. Xavier Iniesta, Fabian. But no, look, I think at a bare minimum, you got to strip this guy of the captaincy because you're the one constant this whole time.
Yep. Maybe that'll light a fire under his ass. And I get the emotional connection to Dylan Larkin. I understand it because he is a Michigan guy and he is from here and he did develop here and everything that goes into that. But someone has to light a fire under this team, and maybe someone has to light a fire under Larkin. And to be completely honest with you, it felt like he sold at the end of this season. It really, really did. It felt like this whole team sold. Oh, boy.
Sorry, no, I just searched up Devil Nacho one chip challenge, and then the first thing that pops up is two things that pop up is U.S. teen dies after eating Notorious spicy chip, and teen dies after doing one chip. Yeah, well, I'm not doing that, Fabian. Not doing that.
All right.
Not doing it.
All right. Yep. Enough of that. I'll eat your sliders, though. No worry. Don't worry about it. But I ain't doing that. So.
But no, you're right.
Oh, man.
I get this whole, like, he's from Michigan. He's one of ours. But, dude, you've been here forever. You've been here.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we really haven't competed in the playoffs for, like, 16 years, 15 years, whatever it was. So to even say we haven't made the playoffs in a decade, we weren't truly contenders. We were just trying to make the playoffs and scrape by and then get swept, or gentlemen swept in the first round. But no, I've said it when I remember back in like the beginning of the season when they put the Hockey Town thing. Remember I tweeted, I go, you can't be doing that, guys. You can't say we're Hockey Town. We haven't been Hockey Town since 2010, maybe 2011. Like, we don't deserve to have it. We shouldn't even put it on the ice. So I swear to God, even we got booed off the ice in the Centennial season. So I swear, if you guys go out there and put Hockey Town on the ice again, I'm done with it. I'm done with the franchise. That's what I would say. I'm done with it.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's get to the question of the day.
Question of the day presented by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off that #1 spell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. But this is a Nate-specific question because I know he's had a rough stretch with this place. We talk about food. Would you eat 5 burgers from Wendy's, Nate?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because
you would. I know you've had a rough experience with Wendy's.
Well, that's fair. Wendy's chicken.
Wendy's chicken?
Which, I mean, yeah, trust
All right, then
issues
5.
there.
Would you eat 5 Wendy's chicken sandwiches? Because I know you don't.
For what? Well, what do I get out of this? I guess that's the other part of this question.
I don't know. But we don't get anything out of the White Castle or the Blazing Wings. We don't get anything out of it.
All right. Well, how many likes do I get for eating 5 Wendy's burgers? See, I need to parlay this into something, man. Yeah, but
chicken sandwiches. I thought it was
or-
burgers that you had a bet. Chicken sandwiches. Change the question to 5 chicken sandwiches.
Hey, maybe
5
if I'm like
spicy
Bobby
chicken sandwiches. Oh boy.
Oh,
I will say their spicy chicken sandwiches are very good.
ooh,
Very
yeah,
underrated.
Probably. Am I going Fabian style, just walking in there and like challenging everybody that works at Wendy's that I can do it?
I guess.
Not that they would give
You
me
could
any
if you
money,
want.
but I can
The
be
world
like,
is your oyster.
you know, hey suckers, watch me eat these 5 chicken sandwiches right in front of you. How much money are you gonna give me? And they're like, nah, man, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, watch me. Yeah. So, all right, no, you're giving me good ideas. I've been looking for a side hustle. That would be a great one. Yeah.
I would eat,
but no,
5. I'd eat 5 chicken
Yeah,
sandwiches.
I could
don't know
get.
in one
could get
city.
5
I don't
down.
know, but I could definitely do it because I
could
think
get
I
5
think their
down.
chicken sandwiches are underrated. Like I would say,
Oh,
Popeyes and Chick-fil-A obviously is like the cream of the crop, but like Wendy's is underrated and KFC's is underrated. I haven't had KFC in a while.
I would agree.
I haven't had KFC in
Yeah.
like 5 years, so I don't know what KFC's taste like anymore. But at least when I tried it, it was underrated.
You had Cane's.
I think Cane's is so overrated. Their sauce is good. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, and their bread is good. But like, I think Cane's is overrated. You know what's better than Cane's? Zaxby's. Zaxby's is better. Zaxby's.
I've never had Zaxby's,
It's
so I
better than
can't judge
Chick-fil-A.
Zaxby's.
It's better than
Okay,
the one we just said. What did we just say?
Cane's.
Cane's. Yeah, Cane's better than Cane's.
I will say
Fabian,
Cookout
chill,
is.
bro. Chill. Think how much Arsenal sucks and you can eat it. No, relax, my man. Relax. That's just a dirty comment right there, dude. If you ever go on the TikTok live, Fabian's got some interesting comments, man. Dude, he just be making me laugh the whole like. There's certain ones where it's like, okay, it's a pretty serious comment, and then like we get into an in-depth conversation. But there's some that is like, oh my god, Fabian, like, what is this comment, man? And he makes me chuckle. Makes
Yeah,
me
be
laugh.
doing
And his
that,
thing
big dog.
Because you can have a
That's
bad
funny.
day as long as you laugh. It's a good day. So, yeah, I appreciate
It is.
Fabian
No,
for all the
absolutely.
comments. And the
Hey,
likes and
man,
everything.
that's a good damn way of looking at it. Yeah, I want at some point to really develop on our show an ability to like get like a live caller or something, or someone to like, even if it's just voice. I think that would be great because I think we got
We don't have
a handful
phones.
of people that. Yeah, well,
We don't have a
yeah,
phone
maybe they can
line
put
here.
the old
phone line
landline
goes
in
to
there.
John's desk. I don't know if we could do.
Hello.
John, hey, I'm here to call about the Inside the Game podcast, and John's like, "What are you talking about?"
What? I'm in the
He's like,
middle of
"I'm
a
on
meeting.
Call.
I'm on a call right now.
What do you mean the Inside the Game podcast?
So follow us on social media, and then while you're at it, call our boss in the middle of our show.
I don't
and
even
just
know the
blow
number
his
to this
phone
place.
up. So I'll actually just give you the number right now. I'll give you the number on the show right here. Okay, ready? I'm just kidding. Not gonna do that, but
586.
Yep. We appreciate you guys joining us. Is he a 313? Are you a 313?
No, I'm a comb. I'm 586. Detroit.
Ah,
Detroit
okay.
is.
I guess
313.
downriver. I knew someone downriver who's a 313. So I guess
Yeah,
the
Downriver
immediate
313.
surrounding area is 313. So, anyways, not that it matters. But all right, well, I guess we got some
What's your
sliders to
area
eat
code?
coming up then. 616, man.
616. Sounds weird.
616. Yep.
So let's see. This
not weird.
map shows
Signature.
Yeah, from the west side of the state.
Uh-huh.
From what I hear,
The best
boy.
side.
from what I hear,
Yeah.
the west side of the state cares a lot about what the east side of the state is up to. That's from what I hear.
No,
so-
y'all just think you're cool. That's all, and you're not.
I remember 989 for a while. They're up in the Mount Pleasant area. You got
Mhm.
616, got 269,
The entire
517.
UP is one area code. I think it's 619. No? What is it?
906.
Tough. All right.
Yeah, and
All
then
right.
you got there's I don't know where that is. I don't know
Wait,
what county that
619 is San Diego. What the hell am I talking? 619 is San Diego. Never mind.
You went on
I was way
vacation
off
and
with
you
that
think
one.
you're a local now. 313 Eminem. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't know if he ever quotes the 313. He does quote the 313 in the movie.
Everybody from the 313.
Put
Yep.
your hands up
Follow
and follow
me.
me. Notice
Yeah,
that this guy
yeah.
did not have his hand up.
Yeah.
He's a
He gave
gangster.
all white-
His real name's Clarence. What, dog? You embarrassed?
That guy gave white men all over the world hope that we could
So
make
did
it.
Cooper
And,
Flagg. So has Luka
Yep.
Doncic.
Yep.
Steve Nash. The white guys
Yep.
have in basketball. There's a culture shift.
We have-
the white boys are hooping.
We have Eminem. Yeah,
Con, can
we have
depend on
Eminem to thank for. We have Eminem to thank for the likes of Lil Dicky and Machine Gun Kelly. So thank you,
Both are trash.
thank you,
I
Eminem.
didn't think Lil Dicky's funny though. I think Lil Dicky.
He
Dicky's
is.
funny.
He's in every
NGK sucks,
commercial
though.
ever, man.
NGK sucks.
He's not great. But anyways, that'll wrap up episode 266 here. Appreciate having you guys back. Fabian, you're the man. Schrock, wherever you are.
We'll see you on
and
live on
everybody
TikTok
else.
tonight for maybe a blazing wing. We might get there.
All right. Yeah, don't do the chip though, all right?
I'm not doing a chip.
Promise me you won't do the chip. All right, sounds good. But 267 coming up tomorrow. We'll talk to you guys then here on the National Soccer Network.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wenger bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.